Welcome to the Growing People podcast. I'm John Losey, and today we have a special guest. Jarrod Murrieta is a director at a large insurance organization in the United States, and I wanted to invite him to talk about why did he get involved in insurance and what drew him to leadership. So, Jarrod, welcome to Growing People.
Thank you, John. I appreciate it. I'm really excited to be here.
Yeah. Well, we're happy to have you. And we've talked a lot in the past. So you've always intrigued me in the path that you got here and what you're currently doing. What are you currently doing for this insurance company?
So right now I head our claims catastrophe response and the logistics coordination of that. So anytime there's a large volume spike, whether that's weather generated or really any cause, it's my team that responds to those to take care of our customers in a timely fashion.
That sounds pretty exciting. It can get kind of tense sometimes.
It has its moments. Let's say this is my first year doing this role, and I think we as a company have had some interesting pieces this year. But it was Hurricane Matthew that impacted kind of the whole East Coast. I think sitting there before that, the closest I could equate it to was the adrenaline I used to feel playing sports in college.
Okay. It's game time.
Exactly.
So tell me, is that where you started in insurance? Is that why, did you get in because of the adrenaline rush of insurance, or how did you start off in the insurance industry?
It's a good question, and I started as a claims rep in Portland, Oregon. I think that's probably the easiest way to start that. Really, I got in because I was looking for something more stable. I was a newly married man. I was coaching college football at my alma mater. And I was working really 100+ hours a week between season, recruiting, coaching, trying to put food on the table. And I was barely seeing my wife. And I was just looking for something that would give me an opportunity to be a more stable provider. I went in with no intention of it turning into a career. And so, you grow a technical skill and you start off at the ground level. But what I found was there was a ripe opportunity for people with a passion for leadership, for investing in people around them, caring about more than just what they produce in an organization on a day-to-day basis. And it's really created quite a few opportunities for me in my 10 years here. So
it started off as just, functional. Let me just pay the bills, but you found a passion in this. Can you tell me a little bit about your passion for leadership? Why is that so important to you?
So I think in all of us, we have some level of purpose, right? We want to do something that is meaningful. And if I'm honest about what insurance is, and it's really just the application of a contract, nothing more, nothing less. It's there to help people. And so that feels good in nature, but it's really just the management of a piece of paper. For me, and the passion and the purpose that I found in this was the people around me. So I grew up in team sports, and I was an offensive lineman in football in college, right? And it's kind of a position where there's not a lot of grandiose grandeur. You don't make the front line of the paper, right? But what you do is you learn the value of somebody who can rally the people around them to accomplish something greater than any one person can on their own. And we have that opportunity in taking care of people in insurance after a loss. Especially with what we do now. A tornado comes and takes your home away. Wow, what a left turn on the path of life. And I have the ability now to influence how people who are going to take care of that customer feel about their own lives. And so what I found was you could connect with human beings and you could help drive a purpose for what they're attached to, but still being very authentic about what we do, which is insurance. And it created an opportunity for me to really see an impact on their lives beyond just what happened in those 40-hour work weeks or whatever the work week was, right? I knew that if we treated them with respect, if we treated them with dignity, if we valued them as human beings, we valued their hopes and dreams, goals, the purpose that they're looking for, what we would get in return would not only benefit the company, but they're going to go home and be good in their community, right? That's how I felt when I had great coaches.
Just to be specific, you're talking about the employees and not the customers.
Yes, I'm talking about our employees. Certainly, I want to take care of our customers, and I really value them. And I don't want to understate that piece of it at all. It really is such a cultural piece of what we're building in our organization. But for me, it's really about our employees. It's the team that I belong to, right? So I mentioned my history with team sports, and that's where my passion is mm-hmm. Those folks who work for me. I have the opportunity to influence their 40-hour work week, how they feel, how they feel respected, what they do, and the impact that it has, and the value that we place on it. And I can influence that in a way where they have then into a community, into other lives, to their wives, to their kids, to their brothers and sisters, to the church that they belong to. And think about it, how much time they spend at work. It's the majority of their week, right? All of that, if they walk out of there with a positive feeling cared about as a human being, feeling valued, they go put that back out into the world, right? And that for me was the connection is I care about people. I love leading people. I love investing in them and seeing them accomplish hopes and dreams. And we can do that in an organization like this in a way that has a huge impact on a community too.
So from your perspective, leadership, if you want to care for the customer as a leader, you got to care for the people, for your employees. And ultimately that's the best way that you can service the customers. Am I reading you right?
Absolutely. As always, you say it just a little more eloquently than I, but yes, it all starts there, right? So the foundation of how I value myself as a leader is 1, to lead by example, and 2, the most important asset I have is my people. Anything I buy is instantly worth less than it was the second I bought it. The only thing I can put money into that's going to return that investment is my people. And so that's really how it all starts with me.
Yeah. So when you invest in people, everything else depreciates, but when you invest in people, now that's truly an investment because you're best capital, but you get dividend. And all of a sudden their capabilities expand.
Exactly. And they start to influence people around them. And I think, it's kind of like the relationship you and I've built around coaching and how much not only did it change my perspective and some of the style and how I led organizationally, but it influenced how I was at home too, right? I became a better listener. I started to frame things more accurately. And so that's what I hope to pass on, right? It's not just what we do at work and in taking care of our customer, which is where we get when we take care of our people, but it's the impact beyond that. And then what happens is it becomes contagious. And we're seeing that in my organization right now, where for the first time in 8 years, we're hiring from the outside of the organization, right? Because we are kind of, elite is not the right word, but we are a specialized unit that deploys all over the US, right? So you have to be able to pick up and go. We don't always bring people in off the streets because it takes a very special breed of person and they have to be committed to it. But what we found is there were so many people knocking on the door because what they saw their buddy was engaged in was contagious. Mm-hmm. All we had to do was open it a crack, and we had all kinds of people who wanted to come play with us, right? And that's an exciting feeling too, because it's the culture we're building and not some hype, or it's not something that's just driven by money. It's I can make a good living. I can feel that adrenaline rush. Oh, and by the way, my buddy loves working there. I want to go get a taste of that.
So you've created a magnetic esprit de corps that people look at the people who are working with you and for you, and they're saying, man, I want a part of that. I know that this is a difficult job, but it's going to be worth it to be in that culture.
Absolutely. And I think that's why, really, is software development any sexier than insurance? I don't think so, but we hear about things like Google, and you hear about some of those large companies and the cultures that they build and how people flock to it. I don't know that we couldn't do the same thing in any industry, but I really do believe it's about understanding your workforce, shifting to what they need, and at the end of the day, authenticity and caring about human beings. Yeah. Really, for me, it's that simple.
So you've got this people part down, and is the people, as a leader and manager, is that all you have to worry about is the people? Or are there other aspects that a leader needs in order to be successful? And does it all have to be encompassed in the same person?
I'll answer the first question simply. Yes, there is more that it takes than just caring about your people, right? The second part really leads us into a great discussion, which is, no, it doesn't have to be all encompassed in the same person. There are pieces about who I am and my style that create gaps in my totality of a leader, right? In my being that holistic leader. So what I do is I look for great people to fill those, right? When you build your team and you assemble your team. And so we talk about diversity of thought and how important that is in a workplace and helping people feel valued. And I think that's something that I look for when I try to establish my team. So I would say there's kind of three things I'll say real quick when I think about leadership that are really important. We've spoken at length about how much you need to care about your people. But the second is, there needs to be security in their ability to succeed. right? So whatever they're doing, if they don't know how to succeed, or they don't know that there can be some security in that, you're never going to get a full buy-in from your people, right? And so that is the organizational technical structure of what it is that you do, what it looks like to accomplish that, and making that a crystal clear communication and understanding. Because without that, I'm just never going to get all of what they're capable of producing, and my customers suffer because of that, right? So then the last piece for me then really is you do, and this is when I say for me, lead by example, but you do as a leader have to have some technical skill in the field that you're in, because there needs to be some credibility, right? I think that leaders can lead people across many different genres against different disciplines, but those that are most effective will take a little bit of time to learn what it is that their people are doing. Because when you can understand that, when they know that you're making decisions with them in mind, you get their best efforts. And from their best efforts, you get better results. And then your customers are in a better spot.
Yeah. So last question on this is, what advice would you give young leaders as they're looking for a career in leading people? What one or two things would you tell them to work on to set themselves up for success?
So the first thing I would say is become a good listener. It has so many facets that's going to touch, from coaching, which you and I've spent a lot of time talking about and developing as a skill, to your ability to connect with your people, even outside of a development conversation. So I really do think listening is an important one. I think the other one is you have to learn to be comfortable in your own skin as a leader, right? There's going to be so many pressures from everywhere to do it this way or to do it that way, or here's a philosophical idea, or here's a strategy that somebody else has used that's successful for them. When you can listen to all of those, you show respect, you can honor, and you can take that feedback and kind of size it up. Does this work for me? But having some, being comfortable in your own skin, you then have the confidence to make some decisions that allow you to be authentic to who you are. And I think that's an important piece, is when you're comfortable in your own skin, you can be authentic. And when you're not authentic, your people and your customers know it right away.
So I love that concept of being comfortable in your own skin. Does that mean not only just knowing about what you're good at, but knowing what you're not good at so that you can recruit help?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think one without the other is only half a coin. So for me, I know I connect well with people. My personality is one that's kind of outgoing. We drive to get results and get things done. Where I can struggle sometimes is the details and the follow-up, and really making sure that we've built a solid foundation in, the data, right? That's an area for me that sometimes we struggle in our particular workforce right now. But I can find people who also care about our folks, but that's their passion. They're good at that. When we can do that together and do it with respect, we find a lot of success. And it's something I've been able to repeat. I've led offices all over the West Coast, including out in Hawaii, which was pretty darn amazing. And now I'm leading a national organization. And we've been able to repeat this just about everywhere I've gone, because it's about valuing the folks around you. And to your point earlier, it's about filling those gaps with what people are great at, empowering them because you believe in them, because you're connected with them, to go do what they're best at, right? And I think that's where we find that magic sauce wherever we go.
Jarrod, thank you so much for carving out a little time to talk to us all about why you lead.
I appreciate you having me here, John. Really enjoyed it. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, so until next time, thanks a lot, Jay.
Bye, guys.